is the MMR May race number 7. Drivers, you are all live at the horn. Here we go. 15 start, nice line of cars. I think we're pretty close to qualifying order with 15 seconds gone by. Toastie moving from 7th to 6th. No one's changing in your order. You lead pair. Actually, nobody's pulling away very much. Down the back goes Chris Adams in the lead. First into the sweeper. Aiden Farrell in all red. First place is Johnny Fenimore. Scott, Thomas, Toastie, and John. Whoa, we lost Aiden Farrell here. He's going to pull off by the lead. Tough. Through the sweeper, your leader. Now some breathing room as the second place car drops out. Hot lap right now. Toastie Toth on a 13-1. But the order is Chris by a second and a half over Johnny, half a second to Scott, 8/10 to John, quarter second to Toastie, 4 seconds to Thomas, with Aiden off after 2. Your leader right up front. All wide up across town. Chris, Johnny, Scott are your top 3. 13-4 for Johnny. That's his, for John, that's his best so far. Leader with a 13-2 hot lap. Johnny 13-1, Scott 13-3. Toastie with the race's best 13-1-6. Chris starting to tack some time. There's a 13-1-6-0 for Chris as he takes the hot lap. He's got 1.8 seconds behind him to Johnny, 8/10 to Scott. 1.5 to John. Toastie is 3 seconds back and half a second ahead of Thomas. 13-1-6 again for Chris Adams. Up the cross town, so he's your leader. Second place sits 2 even seconds behind. Chris, the only car on 23. 22s for Johnny, Scott, John, sitting second, third, fourth. John, the big mover right now, 6th up into 4th. We've got 2 minutes in, 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes left.
The leader at the loop on a 13-3. 13-4 for Johnny, 13-3 for Scott. That's his best lap so far. He's 1 second out of second place, with John 2 seconds behind him in the 13-5. Looks like we've lost Toastie as well. It is a 5-car field. Chris, Johnny, Scott, John, and Thomas. With another personal best lap in this one. He is 1.9 seconds out of third. Halfway point drivers, 2.5 down, 2.5 to go. Chris Adams continues to start time. He is up by 2.6 seconds. And he comes at the loop. 13-1-7. Time improving. He's 23-5-09 with the grid start just 5 seconds off his own TQ. With over 2 minutes left to go. 13-4 that time around. He runs 3 seconds up on second place. Johnny on 22-5-01. 1.4 ahead of Scott, 1.5 more to John. Thomas rounds out the running field. He's a bit behind on 21 lap pace. Minute 45 to go here. Once again, this is race number 7. 8th Masters. A-Name will be up next. Leader across the loop on a 13-3. 13-3 matched by second place. 13-8 for Scott in third. 13-6 for John. The gap for third is 1.7 seconds. That's the tightest pair out there, with Scott trailing Johnny for second by 2 seconds. Adam, now 3.3 seconds ahead. Cross the loop, new hot lap, 13.13. Final minute of this one.
1 minute left.
New hot lap again, 13:05. This is Clark, very sharp here in the late race. With 45 seconds to go, he just turned back-to-back his best laps in a 13:18. Johnny Fenimore on his best, 13:10. He's moved on to a 23-lap pace and is 3.5 seconds out of the lead with 4 seconds behind him. 3.5 more to John in fourth, and 7 seconds to Thomas, who fifth place car. New hot lap again for Chris, 13:02. 20 seconds remaining. Up the cross town. Extremely sharp in this race. Yeah, 5 seconds to the horn. I believe everybody is now on their last
Thomas Barnes
lap.
done.
Indeed. Thomas, 21.5.
Scott Langford done.
Scott, 22.503.
Chris Adams done.
Chris and
John Hodges
John done. Johnny to finish. Chris Adams is going to take
All
the
drivers are
lead in
finished.
A1.
Johnny Fenimore done.
506. Johnny Fenimore, 23 and 511.
Are you doing right now?
Scott
Yeah.
Langford,
Okay.
22, 503. John Hodges, 22, 506. 21, 500. This is race 16, Mod Touring A2 Main. Drivers, you are all live at the horn. Here we go. Good clean start. Chris Adams, your TQ, has a win in his pocket. And a half-second lead after one. Qualifying order, but the Toastie Toth moving up from 7th into 5th. On to the back goes your lead pair, lead triplet. Pretty even spacing between the front 4 cars. A little more gap to car number 5. Up to Crosstown. Chris Adams has a hot lap of 13.1. 13.3 for Aiden, 13.6 for Johnny. Here comes your leader to the loop. 13.1 again. 13.4 for Aiden, back by 9/10 of a second. Johnny on a 14.3. Toastie has moved up into 4th now from the basement. He's a 10th of a second behind Johnny Fenimore for 3rd. They're into the chicane here, and the closest racing out there. 1 minute in, 4 minutes to go. Chris Adams continues to stack a little time. 13.1 on lap 4 to Aiden's 13.3. 2.2 seconds to 3rd place Fenimore, who is still ahead of Toastie by less than a 10th of a second last pass. Through the sweeper they go and to the loop. Scott Langford not far out of that pair either. It's Johnny in 3rd by half a second over Toastie, 9/10 more to Scott. 2.5 seconds to Hodges and Thomas Barnes. Farrell's back by 5 seconds. Aiden Farrell 1.5 seconds down to Chris Adams. Chris is just rolling here in the main. Minute 30 down, 3:30 to go. Oh, Toastie had the inside line there. Johnny managed to drive back over the pipe, but the changeup is only Scott Langford gets to 3rd. Fenimore 4th as Toastie waited. Hodges moves into 5th and Toastie falling to 6th with Barnes off the field. Chris Adams new hot lap. 13.14 last pass. With 2 minutes down, 3 minutes to go. Langford
Number 13.36.
3 minutes left.
He's pretty solidly in 3rd. Adams 13.09. Right up. Into the chicane goes your leader. 2nd place back by 2 seconds. 5 seconds to Langford in 3rd. 2.5 to Fenimore, who's a half second ahead of Hodges, half a second ahead of Toastie Toth. Toastie making the pass back into 6th over Hodges. Fenimore at the loop, then Toastie and Hodges. Chris Adams adding little time. Every lap he's grabbing a little more time over 2nd place Farrell. The gap to watch is probably 3rd and 4th. Scott Langford running 2 seconds ahead of Johnny Fenimore. That's for 3rd. Toastie is 1.2 seconds back and 2/10 more to Hodges, running right behind Toth at the loop. 3rd place, Langford onto the back. White with
2 minutes
green
left.
accent. Aiden Farrell has held the last couple laps at 2 seconds behind leader Chris Adams. They're both on 23 laps now. 22 for Langford and Fenimore, 21 for Hodges and Toth. 13.3 for John Hodges, his best lap of the race as Toastie has trouble and slips back to 6th. It is Chris, Aiden, Scott, Johnny, John, and Toastie with 1:30 to go. Aiden drops back off 22. Adams had a 13.9, a little trouble, but he is still 2.1 seconds up on 2nd place Aiden. Scott Langford holding just 1.4 seconds over Fenimore now. Into the chicane, and down the back goes Langford, then Fenimore, then Hodges, then Toth. Actually, that was Adams, I think. Yes, it was on the 13.2. Still 2.1 seconds ahead of 2nd place Aiden Farrell. A Farrell in all red. Adams onto the back in all white with black writing. Final minute of this one. Adams 13-3, Aiden 13-4, 2.15 seconds to gap. Scott Langford, 1.1 seconds up on Fenimore. This is Langford right up front. Fenimore and Hodges. Each of those drivers about a second from the other. Toastie into sixth by 4.5 seconds with 35 seconds to go. Langford and Fenimore matching up 13.7s. Adams taking a little more time on Farrell. The gap now 2.5 seconds. Chris Adams had that 1:13.9. Otherwise, as far as I know, a basically perfect race. Up the crosstown, coming up on Hodges is your leader. Now Aiden, the two car, up the crosstown. It is Chris, Aiden, Scott, Johnny, John, and Toastie. Scott by half a second over Johnny, but the final second's ticking away. This is the final lap for these two. Scott Langford, he's going to take it here. He's got enough gap. Time expired.
Done. Johnny Fenimore done. Chris Adams done.
And Aiden Farrell will wrap us up here. Chris Adams taking the win in the A2 to go with his win in the A1. A perfect match. Aiden Farrell finishes in second on 23 laps. Scott Langford in third. Johnny Fenimore, John Hodges, Toastie Toth, and Thomas Barnes.
This is race 23, our final main of the day mod touring, A3. You are live at the hole. Thomas putting the early pass, or Scott, look, who was that? That was Thomas putting the early pass on Scott. Down the back, that's going to be Aiden, Johnny, Thomas, Scott. 20 seconds in, 4:40 to go. Your leader down the back, Aiden Farrell, looking to build some time. Second place, Johnny Fenimore, 13.5s for both Aiden and Johnny. 13.7 for Thomas and Scott. Johnny with the official hot lap here. 13.56. Aiden leads by 1 second. Aiden, 13.51, new hot lap. 13.6 for Johnny and Thomas, 13.7 for Scott. Into the chicane, your leader, then second. It is Aiden by 1.1 over Johnny, half a second to Thomas, 0.6 to Scott. Johnny with some catch up, 14.1 for Aiden, 13.8 for Fenimore. 0.8 of a second between 1 and 2. Scott all over the back of Thomas Barnes. Oh, Scott spins out at the end of the chicane. 13.3 for Aiden Farrell, hot lap by a couple of tenths. That gives him a 1.2 second lead, the biggest we've seen so far, with a minute 20 down, 3:30 to go, 3:20 to go. That's it. 13.6 for Aiden, 13.7 for Johnny, 14.0 for Thomas. Scott on a 14.0. Gaps range between 1 to 2 seconds. Aiden by 1.3. 1.7 more to Thomas. 1.9 to Scott. Johnny Fenimore, your second place driver. 14.7, a little bit of trouble there. Thomas Barnes now 1.1 away from second position. Scott Langford banged off a 13.5. Here at the loop, 14.0. 13.8 for Johnny, 13.9 for Thomas, 13.7 for Scott. Scott has suddenly become the fastest car on the field. We've got 2 minutes down, 3 minutes to go. Scott 1.1 seconds behind Thomas Barnes for third. Aiden 13.5, 14.0 for Thomas, 15-second lap for Johnny, 13.6 for Scott. Johnny Fenimore dropping to third behind Thomas Barnes, and he's down with trouble. It is a 3-car field. Aiden, Scott, Thomas, your order. Right now, this would put Aiden in second overall and Scott in third. And with Johnny off the field, that may not be able to change. We've got 2:40 down, 2:20 to go. Aiden, your leader, by 4.5 seconds over Scott. Thomas Barnes is 1.2 seconds behind Scott Langford. Aiden Farrell in red up the crosstown, checking out here in mod touring. 13.6 for Aiden, 13.7 for Scott, 13.8 for Thomas as they each stretch out just a little bit. 2 minutes remaining here in race number 23, our final of the day. 13.6 over Thomas Barnes, the best at spin and his best lap of the race. Got a minute 45 to go. Thomas is a mere second behind Scott Langford. Scott a 13.8. Thomas a 15.5. Now he's 2.5 back. And maybe he has some kind of trouble here. He does not look smooth and fast. We've got a minute 30 to go. Aiden by 4.5 over Scott, 13.8 for Aiden, 13.9 for Scott. Scott driving really well here. 22 lap pace for both of these cars with a minute 15 to go. 13.7 for Aiden, 13.9 for Scott. There's Thomas on a 13.9 after a couple of tough laps. He shook something out of the car.
1 minute left.
Final minute of this. Aiden Farrell just stacking time. 5.2 seconds up on Langford. Under a minute to go. Aiden, Scott, Thomas, your order. Leader up the cross now. 15.8, 13.9, 13.9 that time around. No one close to the other with 30 seconds to go. It's Aiden by 5.3 over Scott. Thomas back by another 4.6 with under 30 seconds to make. 13.8 for Aiden. He has been dialed in this one. Has a hot lap of 13.3. 13.5. Now bumps it just for the heck of it to 13.26. Final seconds ticking off. You are on your last lap, drivers.
Thomas Barnes done. Aiden Farrell done.
Aiden Farrell is going to take home the win in the 8-3.
All drivers are
Scott
finished.
Langford finishing
Scott
in
Langford
second.
done.
They're both with 22 laps. 21 for Thomas Barnes. The final trophy count, Chris Adams taking the one in the T2. Aiden Farrell second. Scott Langford takes home third place honor. That puts racing in the books, folks.